So I hear that you scored pretty good marks for your Part 2 exams, right?
I got a 400 out of 500. The reason that I chose Invisor after my college, as I was continuing my CMA course, is because the way they taught us is a more, acceptable way. Because as a student who needs to know more about the corporate world, Invisor took it down to the level that we need to understand. And in that way, they made sure that we were growing as we learned. We were not lacking from any sides. We were actually deriving knowledge every day as the classes were going on, and it felt like we were actually working in a particular company as we studied for each class. Aaron Abraham. I'm a student from Sahatya College of Advanced Studies in Thrissur.
So are you pursuing CMA now, or did you clear some
Yes, I am pursuing my Certified Management Accounting course. It's been one part is clear. I'm pursuing for another part.
Okay. So I hear that you scored pretty good marks for your Part 2 exams, right?
Yes, yeah.
So what was your score?
I got a 400 out of 500. So
a very good score for CMA. Congratulations. And I believe it was your first attempt.
It was, yeah, my first attempt of the second part.
So after BCom, what made you choose CMA?
I actually chose BCom with CMA while I was at college. The reason that I chose CMA is because I pursued the management and accounting field from my grade 11th and 12th. And it was my passion to have a sufficient and updated knowledge in accounts. And a professional course is very mandatory because if you need that, you need to adapt with the dynamic changes. And CMA US is a really wonderful course that helps you to be that dynamic and adaptive corporate like corporate work. When you reach the corporate world, you will have that sufficient knowledge required of you.
So what made you choose Invisor?
Invisors, the reason that I chose Invisor after my college, as I was continuing my CMA course, is because the way they taught us, or in other words, the way they approach the students is a more acceptable way. Because as a student who needs to know more about the corporate world, Invisor took it down to the level that we need to understand. So and in that way, they made sure that we were growing as we learned in every session. Like we were not lacking from any sides. We were actually deriving knowledge every day as the classes were going on, and it felt like we were actually working in a particular company as we studied for each classes.
So in contradiction to our traditional theory-based classes, Invisor usually promotes case study-based classes, right?
Yes, yeah, that's true.
So how has that helped you?
That helped me in a way that the way the CMA classes were taught was more in a case study way. It was more interesting because traditional theory-based classes are like a textbook copy of what is being taught. But Invisor and our dear teachers made sure that we were taught in a more case study manner, and not in a more theoretical, but a practical manner. So it was really interesting to sit for the classes, and yeah.
Okay, so one of the main problem with CMA or challenges with CMA exams is time management.
Yep.
Mostly students are not able to finish the number of questions within the stipulated time.
Yep.
So how has Invisor's classes helped you to manage your time during exams?
That's one of the reasons that I chose Invisor, because the way the CMA classes are going on is in a very systematic manner with Invisor. So before your exam, you can actually do many exams that has the same manner like how you do it in the real exam. So I took a lot of weekly exams, but it was not in my own intention, but the institute made sure that we do weekly exams every now and then. And before 1 month of the exam, there will be like a month you will be taking on exams, like how you take on the real day. So that helped me to manage my time very well, because the more you get into the practicing session, the more you adapt to time, and you'll start learning how to manage time with different levels of questions. So Doing a lot of exams with the help of Invisor helped me to manage my time.
What about doubt clearing? When it comes to offline classes, you can actually interact with your teacher in a realistic sense,
Yes.
on the spot, when whatever pops into your head, you can talk it out. But when it comes to offline classes, we are a bit hesitant, right? So how would you feel that offline, in comparison to offline classes, how does online classes help you?
Yeah, in terms of clearing the doubt, like for in case in an offline manner, you can ask your doubts and but when it comes to online, like I found it like first I thought like before joining Invisor, this would be a particular thing like that would turn as a disadvantage, but it was not. As doubts come, you can actually clear it in the online class, and the teachers make sure that they get the doubt out of the student. Like they keep on asking like, are you clear with this? And if you're not, and if you and they feel like if you're not, they'll still repeat it. I've seen that many times in many classes. And that's during the classes. And when you're doing questions, if you have a particular doubt, you can mark it as a doubtful question. There is an option to mark that question as a doubtful questions. So the next time the teacher teaches or reviews or does a revision class, he includes those doubtful questions in them. So like proportionately checking every student, if they marked one particular question as doubtful repeatedly, that will be taken in that revision class. So I thought it would be hard before joining Invisor in terms of clearing doubts, but it's actually not. The teachers are very attentive. You can even message them personally. I have asked that a lot, personally messaging my teachers regarding some doubts, and they always made sure, to make time for me, and that actually helped me a lot.
Okay, glad to hear that. So how is your part one preparation coming up?
Yeah, part one preparations are going good by the grace of God. Teachers are still making sure that that we do the weekly exams and we are updated with it. So it's going good so far.
So how do you find Givatambi's class in specific?
Give us classes, but like the first time he taught us was like when he came to college, and it was really different because the way other teachers teaches, like maybe it's not like I'm like saying a disadvantage of other teachers, but I felt like most of the teachers teach from their knowledge, but when they see a student, they have to make sure that they come to that level where the student find the basics right. So even now in normal classes, Givasa teaches us some basics that he knows that students lack. So the way he teaches is like from the scratch. So that he builds the base for us so we can create the pillar out of it. So I really like Givasa's classes because he makes sure that we get to the corporate knowledge first by understanding the basics. So and not directly to the corporate knowledge. So that's a really good thing about Givasa's classes.
So there's a systematic building up of concepts and knowledge.
Exactly.
Okay. So how will you recommend Invisor to your colleagues or your friends?
Yes, I have recommended before, but I'll still keep on recommending because I find it really helpful for others as well. Like there are many out there who's pursuing CMA, but they could not get it because of a lack of systematic way of teaching. But since Invisor does it in a very pretty good way, so I'll surely recommend it to my other peeps around.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much for your time.